Good morning. I'll do that again. I'm Reverend Jack Gady. My pronouns are he, him, and I am the associate minister here at White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. Leading worship with me today are Katie Heathcote, Kaz Burr, Alex Rack, Kathleen Barthelemy, and our beautiful choir. We are so glad you're here with us today. Welcome to this church, a church of people with many diverse theologies, held together by covenant, not creed. Together we share the values of courage, reverence, and compassion. We're a community of youth, adults, and children, and this morning is a multi-generational service. There might be a little more noise and energy in the room for this reason, and isn't that an amazing thing? Nursery care is still available at each service for those 3 and under, and we also have a quiet room in the back for anyone that wants to use it. You can still hear and see the service, but there's also room for toys and wiggles. Whoever you are and however you have come here this morning, may you know deep welcome and belonging.
My name is Kaz Burr. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the ministerial intern here at WBUUC. If you are a visitor this morning, welcome. We're so glad to have you here. It's really an amazing thing to continue to welcome our visitors, and we've had a lot over the past month and a half. We hope that you've stopped by the Welcome Center to meet someone, to create a name tag, and to fill out a guest card. And we hope that you'll join us after the service for our social hour, which is back in the social hall that way. There's a coffee, tea, and many conversations to be had back there. If you have a request to be shared during the time of meditation this morning, please place it in the chat box if you are on Zoom, or the meditation bowl right there, so we can have those for the meditation and the prayer. And again, welcome newcomers. Thank you for making it out this morning.
My name is Rack. I use he, they pronouns. I'm the director of music ministries here. I want to thank all of those who made the Music on Maple performance last night so special. We had nearly 50 concert goers, 15 performers, and lots of joyful dancing. So thank you all for helping make that possible. Also join us this Wednesday night for dinner and programming with the RAIC Forum, Millennialish Groups, Kids Club, and if you're 60 plus, you are invited to join the Third Thursday group. This week it will be a community sing-along.
And now we have a special announcement from our board of directors.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Gooch. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve on your board of directors. Today, I'm inviting you to an important chapter for WBUUC, the Nested Bowls Listening Sessions. And if you take out your wrapper here, you can see this little graphic here of these nested bowls. And so we like to think of our church as like nested bowls, and the innermost bowl there contains beads. The outer bowl is our values. This is our foundation, our 3 to 6 core truths. The middle bowl is our mission, and this is our why, our big picture purpose. And then the inner bowl is the ends. Those are our 5-year goals. And this inner bowl then holds these beads, which are the actual programs, justice projects, and classes that keep our central flame of connection burning. Ends are the difference we want to make in the lives of people and the world. A healthy church doesn't just set these and forget them. Ideally, we go through the ends process every 3 to 5 years. As some of you may recall, we actually started this back in the spring of 2020, but the world changed and overnight, and those goals never really were rolled out. But now is the perfect time to ask if our goals still fit. 25% of our congregation is new, meaning they weren't here during the last ends process. Reverend Jessica has been here almost 3 years now, and it's the perfect time to ask if our bowls still fit who we are becoming under her and Reverend Jack's leadership. And of course, our beloved Director of Religious Education, Amy, is leaving as well. We also can't ignore what's happening outside these walls. With the rise of fascism and systematic injustice, we need to be a courageous community with a clear mission, values, and goals. This process helps us answer, what is our intended impact on the world, on each other, and for ourselves? So during these listening sessions, we're going to focus on like 3 big questions. Beyond our walls, what is the impact you want to see WBUUC making beyond our wider world? What is our brave work in the community outside the walls of this church? Among us, what should we be doing to make sure everyone, no matter their identity, feels they truly belong here? How are we making this place a place where everyone feels a radical sense of belonging? And then within you, how do you want this church to support your own growth and spiritual resilience? What do you need from us to stay resilient and spiritually fueled for the long haul? So I encourage you to sign up for one of these listening sessions, and there's 3 ways to sign up. Right now, you could scan this little QR code if you would like, and register through that. There's also a link on the WBUUC news page to register. And then today, Ro Trippy and I will be in the social hall between services to sign you up and answer any questions you have. We are also offering 1 Zoom session for those unable to attend in person. We do find that these deep conversations are more impactful face-to-face, and we strongly encourage you to sign up for an in-person session if you are able. And just as an addendum to RAC's Wednesday announcements, we do have a session on Wednesday night, and for many of these sessions, we're offering childcare as well. Your feedback then will be consolidated in April, and we will present a new shared vision to the congregation in May. Let's build our future together.
Thank you, Sharon. Welcome to our church. Together we grow our souls and serve the world in love.
That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. That's what I said, I am, you are me. Don't you see, I am, you are me. It's not hard to do. That's what I said, it's just an illusion. It's me and you. Don't you see, I am, confusion. It's not hard to do. That's what I said, it's just an illusion. It's me and you. Don't you see, I am, confusion. It's not hard to do. It's just an illusion. It's me and you. Don't you see, I am, confusion.
Come in. Come into this place which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears and anxieties, loves and hopes. For here you need not hide, nor pretend, nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this place where we can touch and be touched, heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this place where we sanctify the ordinary, celebrate the human, and expect the compassionate. Come into this place. Together we make it a holy place.
You have survived all of your bad days. We have survived all of our worst days. The unimaginable days and the hundreds of mundane Mondays. We're resilient, even when it feels like we might not bounce back this time. But we have bounced, maybe not to where we were, but to something new. Building resilience requires nurturing connection. Relationships help us carry the load when life gets too heavy for one person to hold. It's risky and scary to put ourselves out there, and it's worth it. I've nurtured some very close relationships here. We've been a soft place to land for each other, enabling healing to happen and to keep each other moving forward when it doesn't feel like we can. I've struggled with mental health throughout my life, and I've never been in a better place than now. Current events notwithstanding. Just being in this room on Sundays, I feel connected to something much bigger than myself. I know that I'm safe and held in whatever state I may be in, and I've been in some states. I often tear up for no other reason than it's a relief to be in community with all of you who hold close to your heart the same values that I do. This is a place where I can exhale and relax my shoulders, calm my mind and my nervous system. These things are key to resilience, and resilience is not possible without community. I light this chalice today for us and our resilience. We are better together. Please join me in our opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another. We have a change in the hymn this morning. It'll be number 151 in your gray hymnal. Oh, 155, thanks, Rack. All right, so join me, rise and body your spirit for our first hymn, number 151.
For the
So beautiful. I know we give our singers and our choir credit a lot of the time, and I want to say, hey, we all can sing, and we all do sing, so you all sound great. This morning, I'm going to be telling the story of stone soup. Does anyone here know the stone soup story? Classic, right? I just learned about it. I love it. I love it. And I practiced rehearsing this story to my partner yesterday, and she loved it too. So it's a good one. So once upon a time, there was a wise old man who was ready to get out of the city. A little hustle bustle. I don't know if any of us can relate to that, but needed a little time to himself. So he packed up his belongings, got a little nappy sack he's carrying around, and he went on his way, started journeying, and he went along a path and was making his way through his travels, and he realized that it was starting to get a little bit dark. And when that happens, as we know, right, when you're out and about, it's time to make some plans about where you're going to stay and what you're going to eat. So he came across a small village, and he was like, "All right, this is the place I'm gonna hunker down for the night. I know these are some good people. I can feel it in my bones." So he entered the village, and he saw right in the center of the village that there were a group of people gathered around a fire. And he went up to the folks, and they were all talking. They were hanging out. He could tell that the mood was a little down, though, a little somber. And he said, "Hey, everyone, I have a quick question for you all. I am incredibly tired and very hungry, and I'm curious if there's a place that I can sleep for the night and a hot meal that I could eat." And the people gathered around the fire pit, they kind of looked at each other. Oh, okay. And one of them looked back towards him and said, "You know, we are a hospitable people. We're here for you, but we have a bed, but we're really low on food right now. There wasn't a lot of rain this summer, and our crops they didn't make it. They didn't make it." And the wise old man said, "I'm really sorry to hear that. I have an idea, though. What if I made some stone soup?" And everyone said, "What's stone soup?" And the old man, he said, "Here, I'll show you. Does anyone have a pot and some water? I can start it right over this fire that we're all gathered around right now." And after a little discussion, two of the townspeople said, "Hey, we have that. We can go get that." So they ran back to their place, and they brought the pot and they brought the water, and they set it all up, and they're chatting while they were waiting for it to boil, and it started to boil, and very quietly, but very ceremoniously, the wise old man reached into his back pocket, and he took out a little bag, and he loosened the drawstrings, and he took out a smooth stone, and he plopped it in the bucket, in the pot, and he started to stir. And while this was happening, the townspeople were looking at each other like, what's going on? Who is this? What's going on here? And the wise old man, he took a big sniff of the pot. He said, "Woo, that's some good stone soup." The townspeople couldn't really smell anything, but they believed him. And the old man said, "This is coming along well, but you know what would make it even better? Some carrots." I remember one time I made stone soup, and the carrots in there just really stood out. He said, "Does anyone have any carrots by any chance?" And one of the villagers raised their hand and said, "Wait a minute, I do. I have a few carrots." And she ran back to the place and grabbed the carrots, and they tossed them in and kept stirring. Smelled again. Ooh, really coming along here, really coming along. I remember this one time I had stone soup, a little salted beef, in there. does anyone have any beef by any chance? And there just so happened to be a town butcher who eventually said, all right, I got a little bit of beef. I can run and grab it. So he ran back to the shop, grabbed the beef. They put that in. Kept stirring, smelled. Over time, this wise old man kept asking about each of these vegetables, and people would run and grab them until the soup was heaping with food. And eventually it came time to eat. And the old man poured soup for everyone, and they all ate together. And they sang songs and danced and had some ceremony together deep into the night. And as things were winding down, the mayor of the town walked up to the wise old man and said, hey, I'd like to buy that stone off of you. It's really helped our people. And the wise old man said, it's not for sale. It's not for sale, I'm sorry. The mayor understood. Could tell this thing was pretty special. So the next morning, as the wise old man got up and was making his way out of the town, he saw a group of children playing right by the village gate. And he stopped by them and he said, how you doing? How you doing? How are things going? And they talked a little bit and said how much fun last night was. And the wise old man, once again, he pulled the stone out of his pocket and he gave it to one of the kids. And he said, last night, the magic wasn't in this stone. I want you all to know that. The magic was in us cooking together and having fun. I'm going to leave that with you. So enjoy the stone. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the story. Thank you all for listening to that one. As we enter this moment of meditation and prayer, would you ground yourselves with me with one deep breath, please? Holy One, sacred being of many names, and yet above all naming, we take this moment away from moments, this time away from time, to sit in your presence, the presence of something larger than ourselves. Let us drop the boundaries of you and I, even if just for a brief moment, and enter a spirit of us. Our collective love for each other and the world around us, a healing so deep that words will never be able to capture it all. May we sink into the beauty and stillness of this shared moment of presence. This morning, we pray for our neighbors in prison, cast aside by a system of silencing. We hold you this morning, dear ones. We pray for our neighbors and loved ones experiencing addiction, caught in the cycles of compulsiveness. Know that we see your struggle and acknowledge your suffering. You are not alone. Let the light of love shine on those of us trying to process a diagnosis, those of us coming face to face with our own mortality and the mortality of others. This grief is real, and naming it is a powerful act of peace and strength. As the federal occupation in the Twin Cities metro area winds down, give us the spaciousness, O Sacred One, to take the time required to heal. The journey of tending wounds will be long, maybe longer than our lifetimes, but it is not a journey that we should make alone. The neighboring that we have seen and taken part in provides us with a path forward. May we keep neighboring. May we keep neighboring. This morning we hold Sharon Geiser in light and in love as she begins treatment for bile duct cancer. Please send prayers and support for healing her way. Prayers for my surgical staff. Prayers for my mom. Let us take time now to either speak into the room or hold in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts those of us we bring into the room here this morning. While life can feel fast, grant us the ability to slow down, to pause, and to breathe. We thank the earth for all she continues to give us, and we pray for the ability to continue to open ourselves up and receive her gifts.
Today, we continue our February focus on helping reduce food insecurity with another Sunday special collection to benefit 3 food shelves in our church area. By collecting in February and donating in March, the food shelves qualify for the Minnesota Food Share March matching campaign, thereby increasing the funds they receive. In these astonishingly difficult times, more of our neighbors, especially our immigrant and refugee neighbors, are having trouble getting the food they need. This leads to a greater call for additional donations. Today's collection is for the food shelves in Mahtomedi, Century College, and Valley Outreach in Stillwater. These food shelves work to secure wholesome food for those in need. Mahtomedi and Stillwater focusing on those living in and around their communities. Century College focus on supporting current students. Your gift today is a powerful statement. It says that no matter what happens right here in Minnesota, we show up for each other. Thank you for your generous donation as we support their vision to end food insecurity in our communities. The offering will be gratefully received.
Our first reading this morning is from Frente al Precipicio, which translates to Facing the Precipice in English, by the Reverend Dr. Omega S. Burkhart. All of us here are a sanctuary against retribution, control, extermination. We are resistance. Somos la resistencia. All of us here are a powerful sanctuary, one that provides a foundation, comfort, joy, a place from which we drink the elixir of resilience, and where we also may stoke the forging fires of our faith. When the bombs fall, and today they fall, sent by a warmongering force, coaxed by moral failure, an aggressive and preventable war, we are a revolution. Somos la revolución.
The second reading is For What Binds Us by Jane Hirschfeld. There are names for what binds us. Strong forces, weak forces. Look around, you can see them. The skin that forms in a half-empty cup, nails rusting into the places they join, joints dovetailed on their own weight. The way things stay so solidly wherever they've been set down. And gravity, scientists say, is weak. And see how the flesh grows back across a wound with a great vehemence, more strong than the simple, untested surface before. There's a name for it on horses when it comes back darker and raised, proud flesh. As all flesh is proud of its wounds, wears them as honors given out after battle, small triumphs pinned to the chest. And when two people have loved each other, see how it is like a scar between their bodies, stronger, darker, and proud, how the black cord makes of them a single fabric that nothing can tear or mend. choir. I've been thinking a lot this week about communal resilience. Those of us paying attention to the news have been seeing it in action. And it's been being built in real time. I hope that you've seen some of these ways or experienced them or partaken in them or even led some of them. Protests, rallies, community sings, mutual aid, mutual support, grocery delivery, rent support. Many of you have reached out to us trying to figure out more ways to get involved, to help. I just want to say we're so grateful for all of that, and I'm confident that we've been delayed in our responses because they have been overwhelming. What a great problem to have. I wonder if any of you, like me, have been thinking about so many other moments in our history where we've seen communal resilience building in such beautiful ways. For some reason, I keep thinking about the Montgomery bus boycott. This year-long boycott was well-planned, well-organized, and very strategic. In my opinion, what doesn't get talked about enough is that a grassroots system of public transportation was started and run successfully, despite trouble from the people whose pocketbooks were being the most affected by the boycott. The system of transit required dozens of people, maybe more, to drive their own vehicles for hours at a time, essentially taking on part-time or even full-time work for the duration of the boycott. There was a whole system of mutual aid and bartering. And you know that the GDP of Montgomery suffered that year. And with a lower GDP, Montgomery wasn't going to make any top 50 cities to live in lists that year. There's such tremendous power in organized people who organize strategic protest and resistance. The thing I'm sitting with today is that the after effect of that resistance was this shimmering scar of resilience. Our poet today, Jane Hirschfield, talks about that flesh on a horse that has endured suffering or received a wound. She tells us it's called proud flesh. I know it might be strange to call this resilience a scar, but that's what it feels like. That in the wake of this huge and momentous year-long act of resistance, there was an after effect of resilience. That resilience came when a community that maybe already knew each other a bit got to know each other a lot better. This intense and intimate act of resistance invited them to get to know their neighbors, to know their stories, to know their lives, to literally ride with them, to journey with them day to day. And that flesh had been wounded and then healed over. That scar of resistance was much stronger than it had been before. That's what Jane Hirschfield tells us. You know, back in 2020, when COVID happened, we tried our best to gather this congregation in small groups, sustainable small groups of connection. I don't know if some of you remember this. Hopefully you do, those that were here. It was hard because there was a sense of belonging in a large sense, and we couldn't gather, right? And so we as a staff put together these little tiny teams of like 10, 8 to 15, I don't know. There was like, the altos were a team. We had one leader said, call all the people this week or email them, just see how they're doing. When it happened, we all as a staff talked about this regularly. We said, we wished we had a system in place before this crisis, because now we're in this crisis. And there are so many people that might be falling through these cracks, right? There's not an intimate, small group sense of connection. And I know that people are struggling. That program, in many ways, was life-giving for people, I think, at certain moments, at certain times, and all kind of faded because it was an epidemic, right? A pandemic. And at that moment and after, I remember as a staff, we talked frequently about saying, let's make sure we put these systems in place for the next crisis, right? And somehow that didn't exactly happen. We're always trying to make it happen, It doesn't always happen. We can have grace for ourselves, right? That is part of the work. We are always aspiring to build communion here, community, connection. But that work is never complete. We keep trying to draw the circle wider, to increase who we include, who feels a sense of belonging. And we want that belonging to not just be large group, but in these small group circles. That sense that people have that in at least a few small ways, they are known here. That's actually the purpose of our connection circles that are starting this week. I'm so glad that many of you have signed up. If you missed this section, we plan to launch more in the summer, don't worry. But then, as you know, we faced another crisis, right? Just this past month. On the heels of Renee Good's death, we learned of the death of Alex Preddy. The next day, people came here in droves. On that Sunday, 450 people attended that service, which is our highest attendance yet since COVID. We were hurting, right? We were shell-shocked. And again, we felt underprepared for the moment, for the intensity of the crisis. But then we started it again. We asked you to split into regional groups during social hours so you could get to know your neighbors a bit, to build that hyper-local sense of community. Was that system perfect? No. Did it help some of you meet your neighbors? Yes, I've seen some nods. Just a side note, we will most likely still be encouraging those regional groups to check in a bit and even meet maybe once a month during social hour, probably on a monthly basis, because for however long this crisis lasts, and definitely afterwards, we want to know our neighbors, right? We want to have that hyper-local sense of connection here in this larger community too. Maybe in so doing, we can find ways to support those people we meet or their loved ones. And that's what we need right now. So I know I may have told this story before, but I want to tell it again. I started attending my first UU church back in 2013. I was compelled at the time to seek out a church community because I had a sixth sense that my then relationship was coming to an end. I knew I would need some other connections. I knew that I needed some resilience, and I planned for it in advance. Maybe some of you have a similar story. I think this is actually kind of one of my gifts. I'm always trying to be prepared for the next community crisis by reminding all of us, myself included, that we're not islands. We cannot go it alone, and would we really want to? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it would be a lot simpler, right? Community can be messy, imperfect, tangled. But that's the thing, I don't believe that most of us actually want that simpler. We kind of want the messy, beautiful, tangled, imperfect. We want the tender, bleeding hearts, the scar tissue, the proud flesh. Can I just make a quick tangent here to say I never fully understood the epithet of being called a bleeding heart liberal. Was that supposed to be an insult? Is it bad to have a heart that beats for our fellow humans and suffers with them? I don't know, I was so confused by this week. I actually looked it up on Atlas Obscura. Does anyone know the origins of this phrase? Okay. Well, I learned that the phrase came from a right-wing columnist in the 1930s who was reporting on the soft-hearted liberals who were creating legislation against lynching. Yeah. So here's the short version. It was 1938. His name was Westbrook Pegler. It sounds like a joke. And Congress was trying to pass legislation to punish those involved with lynching. He wasn't a fan of this law because he thought it wasn't the job of the federal government, since local governments were already taking care of it. And I just want to pause for a moment. There's probably some convenient term or shorthand for this crafty political tactic, but I can't tell you how many times I've heard someone say that a law should be passed by local government, not the federal government, when what they really mean is they don't want the law to be passed. And then when the local government is doing their job and representing their citizens and passing laws, sometimes the federal government still comes in and tells them that they're doing it wrong, right? This law shouldn't be handled by local authorities. Maybe you've heard this before, too. The term is probably just something like political convenience or expediency, or it could also be called corruption, hypocrisy, scapegoating. And as a city that is enduring an occupation that is absolutely political and partisan and cruel, I believe we know this hypocrisy and doublespeak firsthand. I recently heard what's happening here described as proxy punishment. And that phrase really opened up a lot within me. Our city is being punished right now for being liberal, for being woke, for being a haven for people seeking refuge and asylum, for being proud of our diversity and multiculturalism. We have had huge and thriving immigrant communities and refugee populations here, and in this moment, we became a proxy target that the federal administration can punish so that all other cities will see that punishment as a warning and get in line. And as sad as I am that the city I love is being punished by a mighty force, I'm so incredibly proud of this flesh, this communal flesh, this band of resistance, and I believe it has the possibility to lead to a shimmering scar of resilience. But back to 1938 and Westbrook Pegler. He didn't think that the federal government needed this anti-lynching law to be passed because in 1937 there had only been 8 lynchings. Sorry, I read that line and my jaw dropped. Ooh, just like it did now. I don't think I've ever read a line so heartless and callous. And that very line of thinking is against my religion. In our faith, every person has inherent worth and dignity, and every single person deserves not to be lynched, and those involved in lynching should be punished. His exact quote is staggering and took me a full minute to comprehend. He essentially said, "I question the humanitarianism of any professional bleeding heart who would stall the entire legislative program in a fight to force through a law intended, at the most optimistic figure, to save 14 lives a year." I mean, what if our legislative policies were actually adept enough to listen to the hunger of every person? What if we could write laws that would actually save 14 lives that wouldn't be saved otherwise? Wouldn't we do that? And at the same moment in time, the late 1930s, when Pegler was dismissing the importance of 14 lives, 2 of my Unitarian heroes, Waite Still and Martha Sharp, were smuggling hundreds of Jews and other vulnerable people out of Europe. To be clear, they were probably breaking many laws in Europe, since that is necessary to defeat authoritarians. But they weren't breaking the laws of their own heart and their own conscience. They were prioritizing the needs of the communal. I'm so eager to continue that type of work here and now. I started out this sermon, which seems like a lifetime ago, by talking about how life might be simpler if we didn't have all the entanglements of community. But I know that as hard as it can be to start the process, building a deep and enduring sense of community, it's vital for our survival, both individually and communally. I feel like every conversation I've had recently has ended up in some permutation of one person saying, "But it's all connected. We contain multitudes. We can be heartbroken and resilient." Have you been hearing those same things recently? It might almost seem cliche, but I don't believe they'll ever become true cliches, because cliches need to be simpler and more one-sided. Cliches are sayings with one solution and less ambiguity. But I believe in a theology of nuance and a theology of ambiguity. There's so much mystery in our world, and I just don't think there's one easy solution. And I know that we don't want to trade in the complicated and the nuanced for the simple, at least not at the expense of the real or the interconnected, the fierce and the heartbroken. I think that most of us want to experience and witness the full spectrum of our humanity, love and passion, which also lead to heartbreak and loss, joy and sorrow. We know that we can't have one without the other. It's all connected, just like we are. I'm sure by now you've noticed this paper chain, right? All around the pulpit here. We started this paper chain 4 weeks ago to chart our acts of resistance and our acts of resilience. And it perfectly symbolizes our interconnection. It also represents proud flesh. It's a sign of our wound. It's a sign of our heartbreak. It's a symbol of the resistance we have been in and the resistance we're embodying, not just individually, collectively. When our bodies have wounds, the affected part sends out signals, right? Synapses across the whole body to gather strength and build immunity. It gathers antibodies to fight off viruses and further infections. This paper chain symbolizes that very act of community building. Each link looped carefully around the other links, right? Like people walking shoulder to shoulder at a protest. Or like the 100 plus clergy who were arrested at the airport, who were linked arm in arm. Like the neighbors holding hands at a vigil, singing songs of grief, or holding a candle in silence. This paper chain also symbolizes the interconnected echoes of all of the songs that have been created for this moment and sung together in small groups and in increasingly bigger groups, in the streets, in churches and synagogues and mosques. And that's what we do here at church, right? We sing songs together. We speak out loud the radical dreams of our tender, bleeding hearts. We dream of a better world. But we do more than just dream. We know that this world takes dreaming and action, takes imagination and resolve. This world requires some of us to devote ourselves to poetry and to music, and it asks other of us to devote ourselves to civil service and policies. We need fierce poets like Omega Burkhart crying, "Somos la resistencia, somos la revolución." And we also need tender-hearted politicians and leaders. We need tender-hearted citizens who will prioritizing tending our hearts together. This paper chain also symbolizes the songs and poems written years ago about different specifics that still resonate and echo today. Like the words of Frances Ellen Watkins Harper. She writes of wanting to write songs for the people, for the old and the young, for the weary, for the children, for the poor and the aged. She says, "Our world, so worn and weary, needs music, pure and strong, to hush the jangle and discords of sorrow, pain, and wrong. Music to soothe all its sorrow, till war and crime shall cease, and the hearts of all grown tender girdle the world with peace." I know it will take some resilience to get to the place where we can girdle the world with peace. And I know that resilience requires healing. And I know that communal resistance and resilience requires communal healing. And I know that we're going to take a while to heal, y'all. But part of that healing work happens in community. Our resistance work is building our resilience. They are interconnected just like we are. May it be so, and amen. Will you rise in body or spirit for our final hymn, number 121 in the gray hymnal, "We'll Build a Land." Just a quick note before we sing. In this church, we strive for language that includes and expands. The original chorus speaks of sisters and brothers anointed by God, but we also want to sing about siblings and cousins anointed by love. So we'll sing the chorus a couple different ways. Feel free to follow the lyrics on the screen. We're just going to sing the first 2 verses with a final additional chorus. Will you join me with your bleeding, tender hearts and sing about the land that we want to build together? We'll build a Blessings today, beautiful people. I look out and I see resistance and resilience and proud flesh growing, and I'm glad we're doing this together. Your invitation today is to actually create more links to this paper chain. They are in the social hall now, whether that's acts of resistance or resilience you've been part of or noticing. And also, make more links by meeting new people today. That's my invitation to you. Go in peace and go in resilience.